The Oakland Raiders might be luckiest team in the NFL. That's not a new development. The Raiders, despite starting the season 24, despite losing in embarrassing fashion to Washington, Buffalo, and New England, and despite having the worst defenses in the NFL, are somehow in a tie for first place in the AFC West. Luck isn't the only competent in the Raiders' sudden re-emergence as a playoff contender, but it's been a significant component, no doubt. But now that the Raiders are in the thick of the playoff hunt, they will have to do something they've failed to do this season: take matters into their own hands. Advertisement: the Raiders can no longer rely on good fortune to bolster their status, to win the AFC West and make the playoffs. Whether that's at 88, 97, or 106, Oakland will have to win games where they're likely to be underdogs. That's been a rarity this season. The Raiders have only won 2 games as underdogs this year, Week 1 against Tennessee, and in the team's Week 6 Thursday night home tilt against Kansas City, which were the 2 most difficult games of the year to handicap. No one knows what you're getting in Week 1, and Thursday night football is a joke. That's why it says more about the rest of the AFC West than the Raiders that Oakland is tied for first place as we head into the final quarter of the season. Oakland has stayed the course, fighting back to .500 since that 24 start, with that Thursday night win over Kansas City and then beating 3 teams they were favored to beat: Miami, Denver, the New York Giants. They've done exactly what was expected of them, and perhaps a bit better than the pessimists' view. Maybe a .500 record with 4 games to play would get the Raiders an outside shot at a wild card in the AFC. No one expected a .500 record to be a first-place mark. But thanks to Kansas City losing 6 of the last 7 games, it is. With 4 games remaining this season, the Raiders have everything to play for. But in order to take it, they'll have to start this final quarter with a win against Kansas City. That's no small thing. Yes, the Chiefs might appear to be imploding before our eyes, but they still have the offensive efficiency and defensive playmakers to give the Raiders problems. Chiefs can particularly give the Raiders issues via the passing game, something they did in their Thursday night football loss earlier this year when Alex Smith had 2 count completions of 64 and 63 yards against the Raiders' defense. Things haven't improved for the Raiders' secondary much, if at all, since the 2 teams met. For Football Outsiders, Oakland pass defense is 25th in the NFL on the left side of the field, 28th over the middle, 31st on the right side, 28th on short passes, and dead last in the league on deep passes, and nearly twice as bad as the next worst team. It's pretty bad, but Raiders fans already knew that. Add in the fact that the Raiders haven't beaten the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium since 2012, and you can see how this is a big contest for the Raiders. In the 2012 game, Carson Palmer was the Raiders' quarterback. Darren McFadden had 30 carries for 110 yards. Rod Streeter caught 5 passes for 62 yards, and Philip Wheeler led the Raiders with 7 tackles and a sack. Yep, it's been a bit. There's a reason that Kansas City opened up as a 4-point favorite Sunday. Don't expect that line to move too much either. So the question is this: do the Raiders have another gear? Can they take control of their destiny, beat a team that's viewed as better than them, and lead the charge to a second straight postseason? If they can do that Sunday in Kansas City, if they can post a benchmark win for this team, there's reason to take the Raiders seriously down the stretch. Luck can only get a team so far. It has gotten this Raiders team into an incredible position with 4 games to play. But it's on the Raiders to take it the rest of the way.